Well, this is, yeah, you don't know what
Well, good morning, everybody. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you. It's that time of year where we start reflecting on the past year and we start looking forward to the next year. So that's going to be a little bit of kind of our discussion today, what it's framed around. I'm also very aware of the fact that we knew in the office potluck, so I'll be very very quick and maybe even wind up finishing a little bit earlier today so that we can get out there and start celebrating. First and foremost, I want to wish Debbie Dahlgren a happy birthday. Lord Megan volunteered to lead us in song, so I'll let her pick it up. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Debbie. Happy birthday to you. So the takeaway is, if your birthday ever falls on the same day as Office TV, just don't show up. Just kidding, just kidding. 20, I'm super excited. 12 days until 2018. What's the aha there? What's the takeaway? Anyway.
We are ready to roll. We got to be ready to go.
I know you're ready to roll. I think this coffee actually needs to come over here this morning.
You're working for next year.
Yeah, absolutely, Bruce. So if there's 12 days left for 2018, what does that really leave you time to do this year?
Business.
Take a vacation. I heard vacation. I don't disagree with
Lead
that.
generate.
I heard business plan. I heard lead generate.
La 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 la, and ho 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 ho.
Yeah, enjoying the holidays,
And you do it,
visiting with family. Hi, Renee.
no, visiting people.
Absolutely.
Like, I mean, I take, like, if you find little gifts and you go have a reason to knock on their door.
Mhm.
And somebody's helped me 3 times this year.
Have they?
So 2 of them I've caught, there's one that.
So business plan, lead generation, some additional touches on your database. What else does it leave you time to do? Obviously, it's important to spend time with family.
Grandchildren.
Yeah, I mean, are we going to forfeit the rest of the year? No, because what we do over the next 12 days and how strong we finish the year will help us determine what. That's going to help us determine first quarter of next year, right? It's going to help us determine whether or not we start the next year strong as well. So at the end of today, I'm going to leave you with a few thoughts that you can do between now and the end of the year to hopefully keep that momentum going and really pull yourself into 2018 with a little bit of a head start. But keep in mind, I want you to celebrate with family. I want you to enjoy some time off. I hear it's going to be super cold, so I want you to hunker down, although I was a little surprised that there's no snow on the ground here today. But at the same time, ask yourselves, what foundation am I laying for the next year? Do I really lay in a strong one so I can hit the ground running come January 1st? Just a quick administrative note, family reunion is February 16th to February 18th in Anaheim, California. Ticket sales close December 22nd. I would love to see you attend if you can fit it into your schedule. It's a great learning opportunity, great place to network. Plus, it's in California, which is typically a little bit nicer in February than Minnesota is. But just keep that in mind. If you do want to purchase some tickets ahead of time, ticket sales will close on the 22nd. Okay, I want to share with you a few statistics about the company Keller Williams in general. And please do me a favor, don't take any pictures of these slides or post them anywhere because they're not supposed to be shared outside the company right now, all right? For those of you at the ALC retreat, they're going to look kind of familiar to you, but I want the entire office to see kind of the progress the company has made and what you're really a part of, all right? So I'm gonna hit the lights here so you can see it a little bit better. Doing that for Jim, just kidding. Here's a trajectory of Keller Williams over the last few years. From 04 to 16, obviously we won't have 17's year-end numbers until we get into January. Leanne, you're not gonna share this, are you?
No.
Okay,
She's not a
sounds
rule
good.
follower.
I can't see it because I don't have my glasses on,
Okay.
so this is just one way.
That sounds good.
I'll be able to do this later.
No worries. So you can see associate count, closed volume, profit share, and then kind of where we rank first in the U.S., then North America, then the world. So since 2014, we've been #1 in the world, especially when it comes to associate count, right? But associate count's only 1/3 of the battle. The other two areas you want to lead in the industry are what?
Volume.
Closed volume and closed units, right? So the company did a great job becoming #1 in agent count because they know that the agent count drives units and volume, right? So over the course of the next few years, we've seen some dramatic gains, and it's important that we understand where we compare when it comes to our competition. Global associate count. Well, this is no big surprise to anybody. We know that we've been leading this for quite some time, right? We've got the most agents. We're attracting a lot of great people because we have a lot to offer, right? So if you look at us and you compare us to a couple of our other competitors, we're blowing them out of the water. Coldwell Banker, Century 21, this blue line is RE/MAX. Who do you not see up there? Yeah, why don't you see them up there?
Because they're local.
Yeah, but what does that really mean? What's the so what? What's the
They're
takeaway?
little.
The takeaway is they don't have the reach and the basically the coverage that we can offer people.
Yeah, they don't have the network, they don't have the tools, they don't have the resources, they don't have the leverage. When Keller Williams sits down across the table from Realtor.com, Zillow, from all the other companies out there, because we have the most agent count, we can leverage a lot of that to negotiate phenomenal deals for our agents, which is why our monthly fee is so cheap when it comes to the technology you get for it. And the market share and market presence is through the roof compared to the competitors, right? But what's the other takeaway? Obviously ours is shot straight up, but what have the other ones done?
Pretty much flat.
They're really not doing much, right? They're really not doing much. This is as of August of this year, by the way.
Where's the RE/MAX coming in? How much has it grown?
They're right
Oh,
here.
I see.
Yep. Does anybody know what the national, hi Chris, come on in. What is the National Association of Realtors experience in terms of agent growth or agent count over the same year? Does anybody know? Do you think it's been going up, going down, staying the same? I heard up. Why who said up and why? Do you regret your answer? It's the right answer.
It's a good market.
It's a good,
Thank
yeah.
you. Yeah, because it's a great market, right? When the market's doing well, I sat down with somebody thinking about starting a career in real estate last week, and I asked them, why are you looking into real estate? And the verbatim answer was because it's so easy. I just kind of, I bit the inside of my cheek a little bit and tried not to smile, but it's like, bless your heart, you don't know what you don't know. We're here to help you. We're here to help you.
It's simple, but
Right. Say that a little bit louder.
it's simple, but it's not easy.
Yeah, it's simple, but it's not easy. But when everybody hears the market's so good, it's on fire, everybody thinks, hey, it's easy. Let me get in on that action, right? So even though we've seen a huge influx of new licensed professionals in the industry, well, most of our competitors have stayed mostly the same while we've continued to gain ground and gain traction, right? A lot of that has to do with, I think, the training and education that we're providing agents, especially those that are new looking to launch a career, right? So agent count's exciting, it's a good thing, but you can have all the agents in the world, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're leading in the other two categories, right? And that's really what we've been after. We've been after the triple crown, as John Davis likes to call it. So here's associate count in the United States. Yep, really not a big change there. Units, running 12 months. Again, this is as of August, right? So this is the #2 category that we're seeking to be #1 in as a company. And I submit to you that by the end of the year, there's a good chance we're going to be there. We won't know where the numbers stand until the end of the first quarter of next year, probably. But from everything I'm hearing and the calls that I'm a part of, from a regional or a corporate level, is that we're #1 in units as well, right? gradual and then sudden. That's kind of the mantra of the Keller Williams growth strategy. So units are up there. We're about ready to take number one in terms of units. Again, if we look at some of our other competitors, they're really just kind of flatlined. They're not experiencing the same level of growth that we are. But why? What's the important takeaway from that?
Strong.
Yeah, we're strong. And I think it's easy when we look at these charts, we read them through our lens as Keller Williams agents. But I want you to, pretend that you're a Coldwell Banker agent for a second, or that you're a RE/MAX agent for a second, and you're looking at the slide. What's your takeaway?
Well, we have
What are
more,
they doing that we're not?
you're right. I mean, we have more numbers, but it's also, we have better training.
For me, if I'm a RE/MAX or if I'm an agent at any other company, and I see this kind of information, the question I'm asking is why? Why is that company, why is Keller Williams experiencing accelerated growth while the company that I'm at is essentially experiencing none or remaining flatline for years? Yeah, what's the reason behind it? What's the why of it? Right? Don't you think that's what a normal person would kind of ask themselves? And I think we could get okay, well, let me backtrack. Let me ask you this. Do you think a lot of them would be surprised to see this graph?
Yeah.
Why? Number one, because I just told you can't share it with anybody. That doesn't count. Right? But why do you think they'd be surprised to see that information?
Because we're still kind of invisible. Keller Williams is.
Because we can do a better job telling our story, right? And because obviously they're telling different stories internal to their own company, right? I submit to you that a lot of agents at these other companies would be pretty surprised to see that chart, because they just don't understand the gains that we've made and the growth that we've experienced. 12 months, or the last rolling 12 months as of August of 17 in volume. So as of August 17, we were number one in agent count, we were number one in volume, and we were pretty much on the verge of being number one in units as well. Any thoughts on that?
It's interesting that there's a lot of gap between Keller, RE/MAX, and Coldwell in agent count, but there's not a lot of gap in volume.
Not necessarily, if you really think of RE/MAX's MO, is they only take experienced agents, right? So,
Well, hello.
Experienced full-time agent.
Full-time, yeah.
Right. But I want to touch on what you said though, Bruce, because honestly, when you look at this, you can ignore the bottom half, right? I mean, these guys are essentially great companies, great people, but they're not even part of the conversation, right? It really comes down to two. Who are the two? Yeah. And where the strongest two RE/MAX franchises happen to be? In the great state of Minnesota.
Lovely.
So we are toe to toe in this neck and neck fight. It's not a fight, but it's kind of a really fight. And don't get me wrong, I love a lot of the agents over there. They're great people. They're running great businesses. But what I struggle with is this: if you're a RE/MAX agent, I've got a lot of love for you, and likely your business has been doing this when it could be experiencing this. Could be experiencing some additional growth if we tapped into the training, the education, the leverage that our company provides, not to mention the opportunity of profit share, right? So anyway, I just think it's sometimes important for us to understand how our company is doing, what our trajectory is, and what it is that we're accomplishing. Because I've said many times before that the only other place that I've experienced the kind of culture where you can succeed and meet most of your goals but still feel somewhat like a failure, other than the military, is Keller Williams. because we're so growth minded and we're so goal oriented, and sometimes we're so hard on ourselves that we discourage ourselves a little bit. We got to celebrate some of the wins as well.
So just a quick question, we see these numbers, we go to family reunion, we see this stuff. I go to the RE/MAX convention, what numbers are they showing?
They're probably going to
Because
show.
this is NAR, right? This is.
Yep.
Right, and these are national statistics.
Yeah,
I made
so
that up.
some of the fun that we've been having with this is we're very curious to see how their marketing changes, because they've marketed themselves as what for so long.
Number one.
Well, that's going to change your marketing,
Right.
Not to pop your balloon, but We can have some fun with it, right? And here's the deal. Like I'll use myself as part of the example. Oops. So let's look at volume and let's look at units. So I was with another one of these companies in 2011, and this is what I was experiencing. It's flatlining, right? Well, I made the move, and my business has doubled a couple of times. I know this. I've felt it. I've experienced it. I've seen it. I know it's true. I've seen its impact, right? So communicating some of that is key. More agents and teams ranked by closed transactions and sales volumes than any other franchise in the 2017 Real Trends of the 1,000. I'm going to sneak back here a little bit. More representative in the Real Trends 500 and Power Broker 500 than any other real estate company. Again, we were recognized as the top training company regardless of industry. Yeah, it is recorded. Just recently recognized as one of the happiest companies to work for in 2018. Not just one, I guess, the one. Right.
And for you guys, Nike's, like, that's kind of what they're known for. I mean, they've been ranked top for years and years and years for being the best company to work for. So that's kind of cool.
Well, and we didn't cut the list off at 10. If you notice, it went all the way down to 13 because it puts you up with the likes of Starbucks and Apple. This one you can share. Yeah.
Can't see it, but.
Well, the article came out. I put it on Facebook. It was shared, but I mean, I even looked at
It's
the
been
full
posted
100. And there was no other real estate company in the top 100.
Wow.
Perfect.
That's
impressive. That I recall. I mean, I have to probably look at it.
Well, and I thought it was funny, with every description that you read, they discuss what number 1 is, they discuss what number 2 is, then they went to number 4, number 5. But they never said, I was like, well, they skipped over number 3, and I'm like, well, that's why, what the heck is that?
Right.
Nobody knows.
Really excited about logistics. So I want to round out. That's all I'm going to spend cheerleading about the company for today. But it's, as we close out the year, we look at where we are, what we've done, what we've accomplished. It's important to celebrate that, understand where we're coming from, and not to be, cliche, but knowledge is power, right? When we're armed with that kind of knowledge and we're having conversations with people that are thinking about getting into the business or co-op agents, being able to succinctly communicate some of that stuff, it's huge. It gets them thinking and asking why. And does anybody know what goes on sometimes this time of year for agents?
They quietly sneak out the door.
They start thinking. They start having questions and conversations, right? And thinking about, hey, did I get what I needed to get this year? Am I in line with my goals? I've known that Jim over at Keller Williams for years. Maybe I need to reach out to him and see what his company's all about or what they have to offer if I'm looking for something a little bit different. And if you can share some of these pieces of information with them, you can kind of capture their attention a little bit. Okay, I won't belabor this point. If you haven't had an opportunity to go in and set your goals in the CGI calculator, feel free to do so. We've got a couple of workshops on it. If you want to get walked through how to do it, we're happy to do so. Highly recommend that you do it. It's pretty quick. It's pretty simple, pretty easy. So far, this was the first year we've had the CGI for the entire year, and it has shown some pretty substantial increases in the businesses of the agents that have tapped into it and used it on a regular basis and been a part of the Monday phone calls. So tap into it if you haven't had a chance to yet. We can help walk you through it if you need to get in there and set your goals and calculate your numbers for 18. All right, I'm going to take a quick look at the most recent RED report.
The weather might be cooling down, but this month, your business is heating up. While those in traditional real estate may be content to take their foot off the gas this time of year, you are accelerating, taking territory, and finishing the year strong. By staying focused throughout the fourth quarter, you are ensuring that you are on track to make 2018 a landmark year in your business. At Keller Williams, there's no slowing down. Don't forget, now is when the pros make their own market and thrive throughout the fourth quarter and beyond. Be sure to leverage all of the resources at your fingertips so that you can surge ahead. First, hop over to KW Connect to access resources from our List to Last series. This 3-week program was designed to help you take advantage of listings, the greatest opportunity, highest leverage activity in real estate. Download toolkits, listen to calls with top agents, and get into action today. Then check out the recent live stream on how to fund your big why through the passive income opportunity of Profit Share. Dick Dillingham and Linda McKissick explain how you can build your downline and get rewarded for helping KW grow. Speaking of which, did you hear the news? We recently surpassed 1 billion in Profit Share. Yes, that's billion with a B. A huge thank you to everyone in the Keller Williams family that contributed to the growth of our company. The opportunity of Profit Share is bigger than ever, with more than half of the billion distributed in the last 4 years alone. Learn more by checking out the new Wealth Building resource page on Connect and access scripts, videos, and more. This month, we also celebrated the launch of our brand new Labs program. As a technology company, we're doing things differently. We're inviting you to join us at every step of the technology development process through Labs. Want to see what tools are in Labs and how each is progressing? Sign up to participate today. And be sure to leverage all the tools at your disposal to tell your story, such as the latest this month at Keller Williams social media video and your local expert infographics. We update these pieces so you can connect with your sphere and show how you are outperforming the market. And, as always, for even more resources to grow your business, check out the Red Report PDF link below. Follow the links and stay in the know.
Okay, anybody pull out any interesting tidbits from that video? 1 billion. That's kind of a big one. What else?
I can see how, as much as we're rated this training company and blah, 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 it can be overwhelming for people. You know, there's so much out there to take advantage of and to look at that, you know, you don't have to do it all. Just kind of pick a few things and kind of get started, but a lot of it.
What else?
We got our share.
Yeah, very good.
So we went up on everything. Everything's moving up.
Anything else?
It's when they said the professionals do their business right
Yeah.
now.
So I took away 2 things. One is this is when the professionals determine the market, right? This is when the professionals pretty much decide what their first quarter is going to look like by how they're going to end their fourth quarter, right? So it said this is when the professionals decide to make their market. So right now, as you're ending this year and going into the first quarter, you're deciding through your actions and what you're doing what kind of year you want to have in 18. Right now, that's what the pros are spending their time on. The other aha for me is they said, yeah, we've profit shared $1 billion. But what was the interesting caveat or the interesting additional piece of information they gave about that $1 billion that's been shared?
After the last 4 years.
Half of it in the last 4 years alone. That's pretty remarkable. Because what do people say sometimes about profit share in Keller Williams?
It's a pyramid scheme and blah, blah, blah.
Pyramid scheme, blah, blah. Oh, you had to be at the very beginning to make any of the money, right? Guess what? If we just profit shared half of our overall profit share in the last 4 years, that means that a good chunk of it has gone to the new people that have just now joined the company and are participating in the program, right? And if we profit shared $500 million in 4 years, and you just saw our performance numbers, what do you think our performance is going to be like the next 2 to 4 years? It's insane. The opportunity is remarkable. Like honestly, sometimes say again.
Number 1 profit share earner is not even with the company.
Yeah, they keep saying that, which is like one of those mythical. I'm like, I don't even know what that means, but it sounds cool. But I do know what it means. It means that there's no greater opportunity for profit share than today, right? It's that old adage, you know, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is when?
Today.
Today, right? So anyway, that's an interesting takeaway. And that's, I mean, a company that has shared $1 billion in its profits. Like, just let that hang out there for a minute. Profit shared $1 billion. Now, sometimes I wonder if Gary Keller's like, maybe I'm a little too generous. You know what I mean? $1 billion? That's insane. What other companies are doing that? And still profitable. And privately owned. It's nuts.
And debt-free.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so in that video, I talked about a couple of things. What I want to make you guys aware of. Hi there, how are you? Good to see you.
You too.
So if you go into KW Connect and you go to KW Technology, you're going to see a bunch of different things that you can click around and have fun with. But what I want to point out to you more than anything is this thing right here. It's called Labs Dashboard. Let me turn off the light for one quick second. So if you get into KW Technology and you go to the Labs Dashboard, it's going to take you to this webpage. And all of these things are some of the new tweaks and additions to our technology and the different platforms that the company intends to utilize moving forward. And if you want to, by going to the Labs dashboard, you can click on any of these and actually sign up to become an early adopter or to participate in some of the beta testing. You know, by going there and clicking on it, it's not a guarantee that you'll get right into one of the groups, but it will at least often put you on a waiting list and get you kind of in the queue for being able to adopt it a little bit sooner if you'd like, or at least getting some updates and notifications about what's coming down the pipeline. So I know there's been a lot of talk this year, especially since the announcement at Mega Camp, that yeah, we're really embracing technology and we're just going at it full steam ahead, so to speak, right? You don't hear me talk about it a lot because my experience has been pretty much with any company. Anytime they're adopting new technology, the timelines are a little bit ambiguous because we don't know. We've got to work through it. We're figuring things out. So all I will do is continue to update you guys about the stuff that they're talking about, the stuff that seems to be coming down the pipeline. Just know that, you know, before they launch a company-wide, they're going to want to get it right. And from what I keep hearing, you know, in September, they said, you know, we're going to move to being a technology company. My first thought was, okay, yeah, I get it. We're gonna do more with technology. That makes sense. They're like, no, you're not hearing us. We are going to become a technology company. Like, what does that even mean? Well, you're gonna find out, right? They're going all in on technology to help leverage your businesses, put you in front of clients, and interrupt all the other disintermediaries out there and other disruptors. So they've got some great stuff, great integration with Facebook coming out, which looks pretty awesome. They've got some artificial intelligence in the form of Kelly, some stuff for listings, all kinds of cool stuff in the works. Again, if you want to participate in any of it before it actually gets rolled out or launched, you can go to Labs, click it, and sign up to get in a little bit early. Any questions on that? Okay. You doing all right over there?
Yeah.
Okay. This is another thing I want to highlight for you. If you go into KW Connect Resources, there's a wealth building tab. So you'll probably hear a little bit more in 2018 about wealth building and just building wealth in general. How has anybody been? Who was with the office like when it first was founded way back? Not that long ago. Did you ever used to hear Keller Williams say something particularly about millionaires? What was it? Do you remember?
A particular saying?
Yeah, they used to kind of have a goal or a saying about millionaires. Anybody remember? I wasn't around when this is kind of one of the things they said often, but I've been told this. They used to often say that one of their goals was they wanted to produce like X number of millionaires per market center. Right? We are the Millionaire Real Estate Agent Company, right? The book is called that. But they're actually like, hey, you know, we want to create agents, business owners who are millionaires. That's our goal. That's our purpose. Hence the focus on wealth building. So if you go to this tab, there's all kinds of information about wealth building and stuff to really grow your mindset and get you thinking about building and generating wealth. Now, I always caveat this because I know sometimes it comes off as, oh, Zach just talking about money. just talk about making more and more money. We're greedy dude. It's the holiday season. Come on, guy, right? But here's one of my favorite sayings. I'll just throw it out there. Money is good for the good that it can do. Money is good for the good that it can do. So if you're serious about building a business and you're serious about building wealth for yourself, for your family, financial independence, financial freedom, so that you can give back and do the things that you want to do, I highly recommend that you spend some time between now and the end of the year looking at 2018 and asking yourself, what steps am I going to take to build my wealth? Where do I want to be 3 to 5 to 10 years from now in terms of wealth, passive income, assets, etc.? What am I going to do to hold myself accountable to make sure I'm taking steps in that direction? And more importantly, when I am able to achieve that, or when I do accomplish that, what's it going to do for me and for my family? You're going to hear us talk a lot more about that in 2018. I think wealth and money is sometimes kind of shied away from, maybe especially in Minnesota, where Minnesota nice and a little bit more private. But I tell you, it's one of the things I'm most passionate about. When all's said and done, at the end of my career, where I would judge myself on is not how many agents were added to the company, not how many units I sold, not what I made in real estate, but how many people I helped generate wealth and become financially independent, financially free. That's what I'm passionate about, because that's truly impacting lives, right? Okay. I was going to play a video about profit share, but I think we all get it. We're doing pretty good. Okay. So if you're ever curious about profit share, how you're doing, or your trends reports, or what your 2017 looked like in compared to past years, etc., I want to make sure everybody understands that when you log into MyKW, if you click on this tab right here that says reports, turn this off again for Leanne. Just teasing, just teasing. Did you bring the wine for the potluck today, Beth? Fantastic.
Bring all 20 bottles.
I don't know who edited that Google.
Yeah, right?
So if you click on reports, it's going to take you to this tab right here. And then if you click on reports again, there's going to be a huge drop down. And if you hover over it, mine might look a little bit different because I've got a different view when I hop into it. But you can click on associate, all kinds of things, market center, you can click on your profit share. This is where you can look at your trends report, you can look at your profit share reports. There's a whole bunch of interesting, really cool reports in here that are automatically generated for you by the company, all right? So if you want to see where you are profit share wise and where you've been compared to years past, etc., you can certainly do that. So I pulled our profit share, and I want to just share some interesting statistics with you about the Rochester Market Center in particular. So all of this information is from January 1st of this year to October 2017. So this is missing 2 months worth of data, right? So these numbers will only go where? Numbers will only go up. 32 agents this year have received profit share. 28 agents associated with our Rochester office have received over $100 in profit share. 24 have received over 300. 18 have received over 500. 13 have received over 1,000. 10 agents have received over 2,000 in profit share. 3 agents have received over $3,000. 2 agents have received over 5,000. And 1 agent has received over $7,000 as of October 2017 in profit share. In our year-to-date profit share so far, it's over 6 figures. What's any ahas or takeaways from that?
The big picture, that's not a whole lot of agents getting profit share. You got,
So that's a
your
takeaway.
goal is to build wealth or help agents build wealth. You've got a lot of opportunity.
So that's a good takeaway. So if we look at those numbers, we've got roughly 30% of our agents receiving some form of profit share. Right? Okay, so the takeaway there is, hey, we've got a lot of people out there that they've got some opportunity if they want to get out there and start, generating some additional passive income through profit share. Other takeaways on some of those numbers. It's free money.
On the flip side, it's not like mythical. I mean, there's 30 agents, and there's a good amount getting a really decent amount of money. So, I mean, it's real for people that are new or, because I bet if you looked at the average years in on some of those are a lot shorter,
Yeah.
than others. So it's doable.
Absolutely. To Todd's point, this proves it's real money. You can talk to 13 people who made over $1,000 in profit share. What are your monthly fees here at Keller Williams Rochester? $25, right? If you don't have office space. So, I mean, you can pretty easily recoup what you're paying to the company monthly and then some, right? To the agent that made $7,000, I guarantee their monthly fees for the year probably didn't exceed $7,000, right? And you know what makes me really excited for that person is they're, let's call it, if we round up, they're about halfway to being at a magical number. What do you think that magical number is? Their cap number, right? We're a company that if you're into profit share and you can focus on it, at some point you can earn more annually than what you pay the company in terms of your cap, which would make you part of what club? Anybody? It's called the 100% plus club.
Yeah.
Meaning you're keeping 100% plus of your commission every year.
That was a lucky ducks.
Yeah. We're not quite there. We're still working on it. But here's what I will tell you. Since I've come to the company, and my profit share is aligned with the Burnsville Market Center because that's where my license is. And coincidentally, Burnsville and Rochester are kind of neck and neck. I look at both profit share numbers every month, obviously, but it's doubled every year. So as the company has grown, so has the profit share, and really without that much focus on it. Because if you look at how deep ours goes, just by the nature of it growing organically over the last few years, we've seen a lot of that additional growth in other levels. I mean, there's people I haven't even met that are in the profit share tree that, the company shared in some of the profits with us. Other takeaways on that? So far, we've heard, hey, yep, we got some more people that can participate. Another takeaway is we've got 30 plus people participating. That's awesome. Todd said it's real money, which is great.
You don't have to be in the office or with Keller Williams for 10 or 12 years to have profit share. You can be a brand new agent and bring somebody on board and make the profit share.
Right. As a matter of fact, that's where a lot of people have an opportunity to ride a rate of growth, right? So you're brand new, you just finished real estate school, some people said, hey, where are you at? Are you getting the training and education? Check this place out. Anything else?
Feel like we're missing something.
Yeah, are you waiting for something good?
No, not at all. Not at all.
It's really the biggest differentiator between our company and any other brand.
Tell me more about that.
Well, you really have the leverage of a broker as a brand new agent to grow your business with residual income. And that's
So I'm going to follow that up with a question. Does anybody know of another real estate company out there that does this, that profit shares?
EXP.
It's a revenue share.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good. It's a similar model. Any others out there? Does anybody know of any other company, regardless of industry, that profit shares like that? They're hard to come by. So I think that's the second aha. We're used to this. We're used to profit share. We understand the benefit. It's awesome. Like, yes, we know that we're one of the only real estate companies. No, you're one of the only companies, period, bar industry, where this sort of opportunity exists for you.
Right, without being upper level management.
Absolutely. Or without having to buy in.
Right, and it's willable for 2 generations.
And oh, by the way, you're vested after how long? Right, because I can get some profit share or something at Target, but guess what? As soon as they kick the can, or I'm out of there, what happens to all that? Unless I own stock. It's gone. It's gone, right? And usually when you're a C-suite executive and you have to leave the company, what do they sometimes force you to do with your stock? You gotta sell that. You gotta sell that puppy, right? Not true here. And when you're looking at different ways and vehicles to generate wealth, that's why I get so excited about it. There's no risk. There's no buy-in. You can be vested, and it's willable. And oh, by the way, it can grow organically and naturally, which is pretty awesome. Anyway, that's all I'll say about that. Okay, I have a couple of challenges for you guys for the end of the year. You don't have to dive into these, but you know, if you're looking to end the year strong and you want some things to focus on, these would be the few things that I focus on. These are the few things that the ALC and I talked about last week. That hey, let's make a push between now and the end of the year to really focus on these three things. These four things and finish strong. So number one would be solidify your 2018 goals. If you haven't yet already, solidify your goals. Do yourself a favor. If you don't know what your goals are by the end of this year, you're already going to be behind the 8 ball. Look at 2018. And this is not going to be until mid to late January before you finally get it figured out. I don't care if it's an income goal or if it's a units goal or if it's a volume goal. It doesn't even just have to be business. What are your other goals for 2018, right? Do yourself a favor between now and the end of the year. Have a conversation with your family, with your spouse, with your kids, whoever, and talk about, oh, by the way, what are their goals for 2018? When's the last time you talked to your kids or your spouse about what their goals are for the next year? Have those conversations, write them down, revisit them. It's very, very powerful. Maximize and organize your database between now and the end of the year. Make it the most robust that you possibly can. You're going to have some downtime here and there. I know you will over the holidays. Spend that time really building this thing out. Oh, by the way, it goes hand in hand with Christmas cards and New Year's cards and all that fun stuff, so you can double up on it. Make it as robust as you possibly can. Build it deep, get that contact information so you can use it in 2018 to continue to grow your business.
Can I say something about that?
Yeah.
I took your class last week and I went to Facebook and pulled all my email. I added over 100 people to my database.
Cool. That's amazing.
And then I put them on a marketing campaign.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get anybody. I thought I'd have people who would like unsubscribe right away because they're like random kind of fringe people.
Right.
Nobody did.
Awesome.
So it's good. I even heard from people in Washington, D.C. saying, hey, looks good here. And you know those people will refer when they know people who.
Awesome. Awesome.
So
thank you for sharing that. And yeah, that's something that's small, but you know, an additional 100 people on your database added to your marketing plan. So 100 more people that are constantly going to be getting marketing material from you, knowing your brand, thinking of you, and having you become top of mind when it comes to real estate. So that's going to increase your referrals, your chances for repeat business, etc. Small things like that. So make that a focus. Another thing I would ask you to do is look at what can you do to cut your expenses by 10% or more heading into next year. And this is how I go about doing that, because sometimes it's like, well, I don't even know where to start. I go to my bank, I pull out my statements, my 12 months worth of statements, or for right now it's 11 months worth of statements. And I take a highlighter and I go through and I highlight everything that I think it could probably go. Or I highlight it and say, I really need to measure the ROI on that because I'm not sure that it's positive or substantially positive, right? So go through it. I just did this last week, and on every bank statement, there were at least 3 or 4 items that were highlighted. And one of them, I was like, when did that happen, right? Somehow, Placer is charging me $150 a month. I tracked it. It was 75 for a while. I don't even know what that is, right?
They start off at that lower and then they double it.
Well, they start off at no cost
Yeah.
unless you add some service, right? But I don't know why it increased. So what's 150 times 12? Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. The high D is like, I don't even.
1,800.
oh,
So just by looking at that, making sure that that gets corrected, moving into next year, I'm already plus $1,800, right? And that was just one of 3 or 4 items, right? But do yourself a favor. And oh, by the way, this coincides with tax time. You have to pull out your statements anyway. You have to prep them for your taxes anyway. I'm doing a lot of 2 birds with 1 stone type stuff right now, all right? Pull all your statements, highlight it, go through it, and guess what? Start pulling stuff right now. I guarantee right now, if everybody between now and the end of the year went over their statements and cut stuff in this room collectively, we'd be saving probably over 10 grand annually. Easy, easy.
What would you say the biggest area of fat for an agency is in the budget?
Yeah, it's getting the kind of phone calls I just heard Kelly DeMille get this morning from a guy named Bruce. He's called me too. He's probably called everybody in this room, trying to say that he somehow represents veterans, this, that, or the other. I don't know. And y'all know me, I love me some veterans. But here's what they want. They want X amount of money per month for some sort of marketing average. It's just crap.
Yeah.
It's crap. There's no shortage of people out there that want to call you and get you to part with the money, the hard-earned commission dollars you generate every year, right? And sometimes we get sucked into it, either A, because they catch us at a moment of desperation when we feel like we need that magic pill to help us increase business or solve our problem, or B, maybe they're just really, really good, that they've got their scripts down, right? They do a phenomenal job of sweet talking us into it. Yeah.
Question, what's your opinion on advertising in the paper versus going hard on Facebook?
So I think you know where I would stand on that one. So what do I love about Facebook? If anybody's heard me talk about it before, it's free. $3.99, baby. Facebook is free. I love free. I'm all about free. I'm all about free. I'll go free all day long. Plus, the people I'm already connected with on Facebook, they already know me and like me, whatever. Right now, you can do Facebook ads if you're looking to spend some marketing dollars. I personally would do Facebook ads over newspaper, right? I don't want to, I'm not poo-pooing newspaper. I don't think I've ever personally spent a dime on advertising in a newspaper, ever. Because I'm in the Twin Cities market, right? And newspapers don't drive business in the Twin Cities because it's a huge, huge market. Now, if I'm in Austin, Minnesota, or I'm in Winona, Minnesota, or smaller markets that you can really corner, then maybe from a brand standpoint, if you're looking just to build that brand, well then potential, right? But I wouldn't spend money on newspaper advertising expecting that I'm just going to get the phone to ring magically, right? It's probably just going to gain me some name recognition. So that's where kind of I stand on it. And this, oh by the way, this ties right back to generating wealth. So if we can cut your expenses by 10% or more, if we can save you a couple extra $1,000 annually or more potentially, what can you then do with that money? Besides spending on Christmas presents, I heard save or invest it, right? Save or invest it.
Or give.
Or give. Absolutely, if you need that tax deduction. No, I'm just kidding. If you have a very kind heart and you want to give, right? This is all about figuring out how we generate wealth for you and how we put you in a very, very strong financial place, personally from a business standpoint. So if we save you $2,000, well, that's $1,000 extra bucks that you can maybe invest back in the business, and $1,000 extra you can invest in stocks or whatever you choose to do, right? But what are we focusing on to continue moving that forward? Okay, last but not least, this one I'm just throwing out there. You don't have to do this. Hopefully by now you've realized, as a team leader at this office, I don't preach recruit. I don't ask you guys to go out and recruit agents, right? It's just not natural, right? It's kind of weird. It feels kind of funky, right? But here's what I know you guys naturally do. You naturally build relationships with other agents, right? Raise your hand if you've got relationships with some other agents out there just because you've done deals with them, right? Well, do yourself a favor. Between now and the end of the year, have at least 3 great conversations with agents at other companies. Just see where it takes you. Build the relationship and plant the seeds. Because we talked about this earlier, a lot of them are doing what this time of year? Changing. And if you have the relationship with them, or you have a conversation with them and you catch them at the right time, that might mean good stuff for them and the growth of their business, and it might mean great stuff for you and the growth of your profit share tree. So that's why I suggest it. And every person you talk to is not going to be open to it, at least not right away. Not all going to change magically overnight. But what I will tell you, based on my experience, and please raise your hand if you've experienced this before, you built up a relationship with somebody, then all of a sudden one day you just get a phone call. And they say, hey, I'd like to know more, let's grab coffee. Has anybody ever received one of those phone calls? Just this week? Fantastic. Anybody else? You're just not remembering. Right? It happens if you build a relationship and you invest in it. What are your thoughts on these things? Are they doable?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, they're all pretty darn easy. The only one that's kind of maybe a little bit scary is this last one. You don't have to do it. You can just do it if you want to. That one's definitely doable. Some of you probably already have it done, right? If you already have your business goals set, I'd say focus on your personal ones too. Add your personal goals to it. Adding the personal goals in there too is oftentimes way more impactful than your business goals. Or when you set your personal goals alongside setting your business goals, it fuels you to really go after it business-wise, because you realize, man, if I crush it, if I crush my business goals, obtaining my personal goals, that's too easy.
Can I just make a mention on that last one? If anybody in here wants to have those conversations, I would say definitely talk to Zach or whatever, but they're not like, hey, I'd like to talk about Keller Williams, and it's not like a recruiting call. It's like you said, building relationships and just saying, how did your year go? What are your goals for 2018? How can I help you achieve your goals? So I think, you know, that makes it less scary when you're coming from contribution with those conversations versus, hey, let me tell you about Keller Williams. It's you tell me about you and how can I help you?
So Kelly used my favorite gold law that I like to remind myself of when we're talking with agents from other companies. That's come with contribution. Or excuse me, come from contribution. And you know, it really goes back to the graphs and charts I shared with you earlier. If we're a company that's just crushing it and blowing through record after record after record, and we're on an upward swing, why in the world would you not want to invite somebody that you know and like in the business to be a part of that? You know what I mean? So my mom, she's also in the business, so she's with the Burnsville office, and she got a call from an agent at Edina Realty in their Prior Lake or their Shakopee office, I can't remember. And she had coffee with her yesterday. My mom and I, we talked quite a bit. We brainstormed, we mastermind, we used script practice with each other and all kinds of stuff. And she said, Zach, you know what she said to me toward the end of our conversation? She asked, well, how come, oh, by the way, this gal called her mom to say, hey, I think I want to know more about your company. I see what you post on Facebook, you're super positive. So my mom didn't reach out to her. And what this gal said to my mom was, you know, why didn't anybody reach out to me about this company? This is a $6 million producer. What's going on over here?
So
She
mad.
blames me. We're not doing it sooner?
I was with Elcor with him, and he jumped ship 3 years before I even knew what was going on. And I was like, Todd, you should have called me a long time ago. And he goes, you never took my calls.
I was behind your pager number.
That's too funny.
When did you have a pager?
No.
She still does. No, I'm just kidding. But that does get back to building a relationship. It doesn't always happen overnight. But I think that's the biggest aha, because we hear stories like that sometimes, like, oh yeah, they're like, why didn't you ever call me? But until it happens for real, or to somebody that you like know personally, I mean that really does happen. We've got agents out there who they don't know what they don't know, and if you introduce them to it, you're going to change not only their lives, but then you're going to change your own lives of your family through passive income and profit share. So I want to pass down just a couple of different things you can potentially say with folks if you come across them or you have the opportunity. And I would leave you with this, just ask them to grab coffee. It doesn't even have to be, hey, would you talk to Zach? If you call me the team leader, they're going to look at you and say, what is that? That's kind of weird. You can call me an office manager, whatever makes sense. You know, try not to overuse our Keller Williams lingo on it. You say, hey, let's grab coffee. How's the market? How are your business this year? What are your goals for next year? You know, if I could share with you a way to grow your business, would you be open to it? Yes, ma'am.
Linda McKissick always says, people will never call you when you just sold them home or help them sell it and say you helped change my life. But she said, if you help the right people come to Keller Williams, you will get that phone call thanking you for changing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I know who those people are for me. They're the ones that reached out to us when we were still at Edina, and I still remember taking a meeting in Todd Haig's office in Maple Grove, and I grilled the guy. Grilled them. They were after my parents. They weren't even after me, because I was still unproven talent. I was like, what, year 1 or 2 in the business, just got back from a deployment overseas, had maybe done, 18 deals since I've been back. I just grilled them. I said, tell me more about this. What's this? What does this mean? How about this? We went to Mega Camp before we joined the company, and that's where it really sealed the deal for me when I saw each one of the company's leaders get out there and say their piece, and I felt the culture of the company. I said it's a no-brainer. These people will help me grow my business through the best training and education out there. They'll let me keep more of my money that I make as I grow my business, and oh, by the way, they'll share in the profits with me. As Jason Gorman would say, that's an unfair fight. It's an unfair fight. Our competitors can't hold a candle to that. We'll help you go. We'll help you grow. We'll help you keep more money as you grow, and we'll share in the profits with you. Just can't find that any other way, any other place. Anything else on this? So for some of you that go and do this expense exercise as you cut those expenses, I'd love to hear. You don't have to post it publicly, but if you want to shoot me a text or a message, just let me know how much you've carved out and you're going to save moving into the next year. I think that'd be super cool to find out. Or I'd love to come back in January to our next team meeting and share this person saved this much, this person cut out this much, this person cut out this much, and let's see how much collectively we can pull out expense-wise as we head into next year, right? Not talking about cutting your gym membership and stuff like that. just joking. But what are some things that could really be shaved out of the business? Last but not least, I want to wish you all very, very happy holidays. This is our last team meeting of the year, so finish the year strong. Enjoy time with family. Enjoy the potluck. If you still need stuff between now and the end of the year, call us, email, text us. We're here for you. We want to help you finish strong. But get your goals set, get your database squared away, and get ready to hit 2018 hard. All right. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it.
Guys, can I just for a second, we just hired Beth Davis, so I just wanted to introduce her. Just obviously, she's not going to memorize all your names, but if you're around the office and you see Beth, reach out. She may come to you from time to time with questions if we're not around. So just wanted you to know who she was.
Welcome, Beth.
Welcome.
Good day, Kelly.
Good job, Kelly and Bruce.
Okay, now
You
Cindy.
here with
Sandy.
the company out there.
Here, get my dish.